Okay. What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel where I talk and do everything pinball. So if that sounds interesting to you, then hit that subscribe button down below. The decline in interest for this game is quite evident. Limited edition machines are still available for purchase, and if you're willing to take that plunge. The thread for Stranger Things on Pinside has the ebb and flow of what I can only parallel to as basically the remission and relapse of cancer. Not only have I lost interest in this game, but I've honestly lost interest even looking at the forum thread about it. When a thread has basically deterred from even talking about the machine and it has become only a way of insulting others via their political or even religion views, then you know that the game has lost its fire. There have been quite a large amount of complaints when it comes to mechanical issues with this machine on the Pro. I was lucky enough to experience every single one of these complaints in the hour or so that I got to play, and I have the footage to prove it. But before I go into my complete experience with this game, I want to discuss with you what those mechanical complaints are. I think the most common and most posted complaint and issue is the rod that shoots up to basically keep your ball from going down the ramp to do a virtual ball lock. That rod comes out and literally just comes completely out of the playfield and causes your machine to no longer be able to be playable. So there's an issue with that. And the thing is, after talking with the technician, because it happened to me, and after talking to the technician, he was very surprised because that rod is not glued, clamped, or even bolted to anything in the game. It's pretty much just free to just come out of the playfield. He told me that he put some Loctite on there, and the game after that played with no longer having issues with that. And this wasn't just me. Like I said, this is widespread across Pinside and Facebook, Twitter. People are having this issue. So when it happened to me, I was like, sweet, I'm part of a statistic.
Jim, I'm a doctor, not a pinball wizard.
Ball 4, ball 5, ball 6, ball 7.
Now I'm going to mention this even though it's a given and I shouldn't have to, but I am going to bring it up. Dimpling, cratering, it's there, it's always been there, and this machine that I played had it. Within the first 10 seconds of playing this game, this happened to me. Now, I remember seeing some complaints on Pinside about this, and what was the fix for it via other users? Oh, all you gotta do is just adjust that gate or remove the gate entirely from the machine. Are you kidding me? I have to remove hardware from a pinball machine that's at least $6,000 in order for it to function? But this gate isn't the only problem. I mean, there's been actual complaints about loose hardware all over this machine with people. And I'm kind of wondering if they're not screwing these hardware pieces to the playfield as tight as they used to deter from possible issues with clear coat. I don't know, you tell me, what do you think? In order to successfully nail the Demigorgon in his freaking ball hole, evidently the machine needs to be leveled just right, and the pitch has to be just right. in order for you to get it. And out of the many, many, many times I attempted to nail him in his freaking ball hole, I only nailed it once. And that was pure luck. And I'll go over how that happened later. I've seen some complaints about whenever you hit the Demogorgon and the ball is returned to you from that right inner orbit. There's been some complaints from, not as many, this is not a big widespread issue as a lot of the other complaints, but supposedly the ball can basically feed directly straight down the middle. And the fix for that? Oh, all you got to do is just bend that metal railing right there, so that way the ball no longer feeds direct. I mean, you have to straighten out metal on games and remove hardware and all this other shit just so your game can supposedly function the way it was intended to. Jesus fuck. But enough of the known issues, let's talk about my experience with this game. So I put in over an hour on this machine, trying to get the full experience, and that way I can say that I put a lot of time and effort into at least attempting to like this game. Of course, like I said, I had to deal with some of the mechanical issues, but once those were all resolved, the only thing that I guess I can complain about that I could not fully enjoy was being able to land the ball in the Demogorgon's mouth. That shot, I mean, I was beating the heck out of everything else around him, so close to getting it sometimes, but overall, it was not a good experience because I only got it in there once, and sadly enough, I didn't get that on camera, so I have got no proof to even my brother that was with me that I was able to nail that shot. My brother tells me if there would have been some hair around the hole, then maybe I would have been able to nail it better. Some of you Pinside people know what I'm talking about. Most of you know how I have felt about this game since it was even shown, and that was that it was boring. I didn't find it entertaining to even watch someone else play, but then there was always that comments of like, you haven't played it yet, so therefore shut up. I mean, okay, I have not played it, but I do know what I like, and I know what looks to be fun, and what looks like I would enjoy. That is from my own personal experience, and I know that every game that I believe that I've gone over so far, my issues and concerns have always made sense down the road. Now, once again, every time I talk about this machine, I have to always preface the fact that yes, I am completely aware that the code is not done. The code can be the end all and what all to this machine, supposedly. But I'm telling you right now, I think even with finished code, I'm still not going to care for this game. The shots are not fun. I mean, and I'm not the only one. This is something that everyone has mentioned, is that the game itself is kind of, it's a little bit boring. And that's the thing, is that I felt that after all this time, usually you're supposed to go, oh, one more ball, just one more ball. But it wasn't like that for me. It was like, I guess one more ball. I was forcing myself to play this game, and maybe that was because I had 20 other pinball machines down this row at this location to play. And almost every single one of them, almost, but not all of them, trust me, there's other games in there that are not fun. But like, when you have all the other machines from the designer of Stranger Things, and you would definitely much rather play all of those games compared to the new one that you're right in front of, that says something. And you've got The Shadow, you've got Attack from Mars, you've got Medieval Madness, and I played all of them when I was there as well, and every single one of those I had a blast on. It was great, it was entertaining, it was funny. I mean, it was just a good pinball experience. Whereas when I whenever I stood in front of this machine and essentially forced myself to play this machine over and over again in hopes that maybe it would get better over time. And it didn't. It did not get better over time. There's even been a smaller amount of complaints, but I think this is probably going to become worse over time, that the ramp is getting bent and that's going to cause the pitch and the ability to hit the Demogorgon. And part of the reason why it's getting bent is because of the eject hole on the far left basically just shoots. Okay, I never get messaged until I start recording. This is the kind of shit that pisses me off. I feel like that the design, Brian, you've done better. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And I'm hoping that people can understand this. And this is not your best work. And I'm sorry. This is not your best work. And like I said, when you're able to see whatever else that you've done all in the same lineup, and then you get to this one, you would think that this is like your first one. This is where you started from, and then this is where you're going to learn from. That sounds harsh, it sounds bad, but this is just my personal opinions. That left eject hole seems like a complete afterthought that was just kind of thrown in there just for something else that does something in the game. And I've said this before on other times, is that I feel like, and this can be implemented with code, but let's say, for instance, your ball gets into that eject hole. Instead of it just ejecting out towards your drop targets, and sometimes it hits them, sometimes it hits this one or that one, maybe they could have made it to where it always hits a certain target, and when the ball gets into the eject hole, they can do this in code. Make the light strobe left and right like you do for your skill shot, and the player hits the action button to launch the ball out of that eject hole to hopefully hit the strobing target as an extra skill shot point. Gives the player a little more, integration into the machine. Makes them feel like they're doing something, because honestly, throughout this game, I didn't really feel like I was really doing anything. I mean, every shot that I was making, like, oh, another ramp, oh, another ramp, oh, here comes the orbit, here comes this, and then complete, utter failed attempts on this friggin' Demogorgon's mouth made my experience just like, but, and it's like I have to sit back and go, even if I was nailing the Demogorgon in the mouth, would that have made much of a difference? And I don't think it would. I really do not. There's not much kinetic satisfaction in this game. And I found myself going back and forth between, the almighty Jurassic Park Limited Edition down the road, and as well as many other machines that are on the line there. And when I get to Stranger Things Pro, it's very bland, very barren. There's not much going on or whatever. I mean, this game obviously was built around the fact that they were going to put a projector in it. And whether it, Brian has talked about this on streams, and the projector was supposedly something that he was on board for, wanted to do and stuff like that. I'm inclined to not believe that. And if that is true, then the Pro, although is the experience that you're going to get out of the game, whether you have a premium or LE, that does not matter. If you have a projector in your game, that's simply aesthetics and just a little bit of visual difference for other people watching mainly. But it's not going to change the flow of the game. All the hardware is the same. All the hardware is the same, guys. Nothing's different in the LE or premium to the Pro. The only difference is that projector and your multi-ball telekinesis thing up there. But even then, that is something that I feel like is still not going to change the way the game really plays. When you compare some other games with their different versions of their games, it's like, wow, that's a big difference. I mean, I would like to have that in a game because it's actually going to kind of change the way things are. Whereas this one is like, well, I mean, if I wanted to spend the extra $1,500 plus for a projector, that, I feel like I'm just tearing this game to shreds, and I'm not wanting to do that. I'm not wanting to just crap all over something that everyone has been working on for over a year. But the thing is, as harsh as my words sound, it doesn't take away from the fact that I'm not the only one that feels this. And I believe as the days and the weeks progress, more and more of these people that have either played it or even purchased it are going to feel the same way. It's just a matter that I already had the foresight as well, of just by watching it, to be able to say that this game is not going to do well. Some people need a little bit more, hands-on, and they have a little more faith and just believe that things will get better down the road. And okay, to each your own. Fine, if you have faith in this game and if you love this game, then by all means you can have a good time with it. Go on. I'm not judging you for liking this game. But for me, I feel like if I would have been like, oh, Stranger Things just got announced, I'm dropping my 6,000, here you go, and then I received this machine, I set it up, and I played it, I would be very upset because the game is not what I like. That's just me. Now that LEs are officially on the line and we're going to start seeing much more streams and much more feedback with the Projector, this is where I believe we're going to start seeing a lot more feedback, and the decline of Stranger Things is going to really start to go down. The honeymoon phase is already over within the first month of this game. But let's design is one thing. Let's talk about the audio, because this is something else that really pissed me off over time. It was the callouts are god awful. God awful, to the where I was eventually just annoyed by hearing certain things over and over again. I mean, that's why I started this video out with, okay, because trust me, a lot of the times when you go for those center drop targets, and if you don't hit them at the right trajectory, you're bound to get a rebound straight down the middle, and then a lot of the times you get a ball save, and that is a very common phrase that you hear is the, okay. But every once in a while they'll throw in a ball saved. But it's like none of the words that come out of his mouth seem like they are like enthusiastic or really into what he's doing. It seemed like he is bored with his own words. And that was the thing, is that whenever I was playing other machines in the vicinity of Stranger Things, I found myself getting annoyed by it. I'm like, oh my god, if I have to hear that call out one more time. It was getting very frustrated. I mean, so like when you hit your jackpots and stuff like that, jackpot. I mean, it's just, you would think that the people in the audio studio would be like, yeah, sir, can you put a little more enthusiasm into the words that you're saying? That would be much more preferred. How about a little more enthusiastic? Like, oh, I mean, something. I can't even describe what it needs, but definitely what is in there right now is not what it needs. And just recently, Jeff Patterson with This Week in Pinball did a first impression ranking system on, how we feel about this game when it comes to just first impressions about what we see with the game and stuff like that. And honestly, the ranking that I put in there in review is better than what I would give it now after playing it. And there's a lot of you out there that are going to really defend this, and I get it. You have every right to defend your purchase. That is just human nature. If you own something and everyone's crapping on it, it's only natural for you to go, hey, you know what? No, it's good because of these so-and-so reasons. I get it. If you own the game, be happy with it. Play it. Enjoy it. Do what you want. If I had to give any advice to individuals being interested in looking to buy this game, I would say play it first. Go on location, guys, just to make sure that this is something that you're going to want in your home and to keep. Look past that it's Stranger Things. I'm a Stranger Things fan as well. I've watched all the episodes. Trust me, I love the show, but I believe the integration of the show into this machine is quite poor. I really don't know what else to talk about. I feel like this video was turned into a Stranger Things just bash event, and that is not what my objective was for this video. My objective on this video was to give you my opinions after playing the game. I mean, I already see the posts now from people when it comes to owning this LE or Premium Edition. I already see it. I mean, I'm already seeing the words now where they're like, oh, the animations on the display inside the machine and the ramps enhances the gameplay experience of this machine so much more. No, I don't think that's possible. I mean, you put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig, guys. I mean, so you put fancy pictures on your ramp, it still doesn't change the fact that the ramp is mechanically the same and mechanically is going to do the exact same thing as the Pro. But if you want to take the plunge, buy the Premium, buy the LE, buy your Pro, it's your money, do what you want. But again, I highly recommend you play it first just for your own sake. Not only do I look out for myself when it comes to where my money goes, but I look out for everyone else, guys. Whenever my brother one time wanted to buy me something at a store for my birthday, I was like, oh, this would be awesome. And I looked at the price and I was like, don't buy this for me. Maybe you can get it cheaper on Amazon. And sure enough, yeah, it was like $20 or $30 cheaper on Amazon. I was like, if you're going to get me this, that's fine, but don't spend this much money for it. You can get it cheaper this way. And yeah, I'm not supporting local stores, whatever. It was a big business, so it's whatever. But the fact remains is that I still look out for everyone else as well as myself when it comes to our financial situations. So that's going to wrap up this video, guys. Have you played Stranger Things? And if you have, let me know what you feel about the game. Do you agree with some of the things that I've said? Do you disagree with everything that I've said? If so, let me know down below. And if you haven't already, guys, do not forget to hit that subscribe button down there. That way you can be notified of whenever I upload something for your viewing pleasure. And until next time, peace out. Oh yeah, and how I got the ball into the Demogorgon's mouth that one time was the fact that I launched it up, it bounced off of his head, hit the very tippy top of that ramp, and that caused the ball to bounce up and then into his mouth. If I'm lying, I'm dying. Okay.